IVM.
Hi, this is Almas Virani. I am a speaker, author, coach, change maker, and I have a campaign called #TurnOffTheStereo, where I create awareness on breaking gender stereotypes. I also have a petition on change.org, where I'm asking a leading diaper company to ensure that they include the father's picture on the diaper wrappers. I think it's high time we have fathers be part of inclusive parenting. If you believe in my cause, please go to www.change.org/papapampers2. Beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder, but many beholders are fools. They can't see the depth of real beauty in a woman beneath the layers of what everyone thinks is cool. Size 0, thin bodies, and a great figure in a girl is wow. But this is the definition of beauty, really? Can someone tell me how? It's time to break this cliche, and let's do it now. Because we are souls and not genders, so let's take a vow. A vow to look beyond the stereotypes and accept ourselves fully. 'Cause it's only when you do that the world smiles back at you truly. Smile and show us the real beauty, oh girl. Smile and make our day. Joining us in the studio is Pushtiie Shakti of Mahi Way.
Hi.
Hi, Pushtiie. How are you?
Very well. How are you?
I am so excited, and so is my 8-year-old son. We're huge fans. We binge watched your show twice.
So sweet.
Yeah. And, for someone like me who's also on a spiritual journey to accept myself, embrace who I am, I think the show was an instrument in my journey.
Yeah, actually, it's been pretty instrumental for me too, because it was like reliving a part of my life that I had unpacked, sorted, and, been all right with. And then going through all of that, all those experiences, all over again was like, but I thought I finished.
Right, but there was a purpose for you to
of
go
course,
out
it
and
was
serve
like,
in the world.
final exams.
I can totally imagine. So for the listeners who don't know much about the show, let me introduce Pushtiie Shakti to you. She's been an actress for a very long time. She started her career when she was 3 years old. Some people might also remember Choti in Hum Panch. Well, that was Pushtiie Shakti for you. And she's done a lot of interesting roles in Jaisi Jaisi Koi Nahi, Pyar Ko Ho Jane Do. She's done a web series called Aafat. She's also acted in a whole lot of movies, and the list is quite long. But the most interesting feather in her cap is the character of Mahi Talwar, a free-spirited young woman who lives life on her own terms, irrespective of being criticized for her physical appearance based on social standards. Absolutely. And that is exactly what Pushtiie Shakti also signifies. So Pushtiie, today's conversation is going to be about accepting yourself.
Awesome.
This is your host in Dostal, and welcome to our show. Here we talk about breaking cliches, breaking gender stereotypes, and also today we're going to talk about this whole issue of body shaming and how it impacts human beings, especially women. What are the kind of cliches that go around this space, and how do we as a society deal with it? It's a huge problem. Whether या तो अगर आप बहुत छोटे हो या मोटे हो या पतले हो या लंबे हो, जैसे मेरे साथ मैं बहुत लंबी थी और मैं बहुत पतली थी, so that was a cliche for me.
Right.
So today we're going to explore Pushtiie Shakti and how she came around to accept herself fully. So Pushtiie, let's talk a little bit about your childhood. What are some of the cliches that you grew up with?
So I've always been a plump child. Okay, but again, see the word I'm using plump. Okay, plump is a happy version of fat. See, but I was a plump child. I have pictures of me where I'm sitting on a swing and with my my tongue out, and I'm just really enjoying myself. I'm this round little bundle of joy.
You are a bundle of joy.
Thank you. No, but that's what it was, that
Right.
picture. I still remember it and I have it.
Right.
But as I started shifting from an all-girls school, I went to co-ed school at one point, in my 5th standard.
Right.
That is when things started really changing.
Right. So what changed?
The way people looked at me changed.
So how were people looking at you earlier?
Earlier it was like, हाँ cute सा बच्चा है, you know, sweet little girl, it's okay. And suddenly now, because I was in a co-ed school, I had to grow up, you know, and I was scared because it's like when you meet people at home, when you meet the men at home, they're your brother, they're your father, they're your grandfather, they're your uncle. You know, they are not people who are going to judge you till you give out the energy of wanting to be judged or being judged. And that started with me when I started going to school, because then it was, oh, the other girls look like this, you know, the other girls wear this. Before that, you're too young to even notice all that. Because like today's generation, no, today you're like, I think at 3 only people start wondering what they look like and their hair and their makeup.
Is my selfie all right?
Yeah, exactly. And like we were, I don't even know what to say to us, you know. When, I'm sounding really old.
So let's talk about the young 10-year-old Pushtiie. What was happening to her?
Yeah, like I got into this school and I'm thinking, oh my God, I don't want to talk to boys. Because I don't know how to talk to boys. Because you can't talk to all the boys like your best friend, because your mom tells you, you know, pay attention, be aware, you know. Because she, of course, is thinking that, no, I've got to tell my daughter that it's a different world out there. So in her way, she told me take care and be attentive and all of that. So I was an introvert. I still am. But at that point, I was like a super introvert. So people should think I have an attitude. And the easiest way for them to get a response from me was like, you know, we're commenting on the way I look. So it was like, acha, ye to choti hai, nati hai, moti hai, you know. Oh, she wears this. See, the school uniform looks like this on her. It looks like that on her. Why is her skirt so long? Why is it too short? All of that, I've gone through all those phases.
So we're going to take a moment here and I'd like us to reflect. What does a 10, 11-year-old feel when people are saying all of this? And the reason I want to bring this up is because we want listeners to really be aware. हमारे लिए comment है, but उसको कैसे feel होता है? What's going on in the mind and heart of an 11-year-old girl?
You know, you get confused. You get confused. Because till now, you know, you did a lot of stuff that your parents told you was right. Now you've come out of that cocoon and you're looking at options. You're looking at people who say कि मुझे ये पहनना है तो मैं पहनूंगी, मुझे वो करना है तो मैं करूंगी, मुझे बाल काटना है तो मैं काट दूंगी, मुझे, you know, it's things that have not been within your mental reach at, you know, till then. At least that was the way it felt for me. And then suddenly you want to reach out to those things because they make sense to you. And suddenly you come into a space where you're thinking, acha, what do I like? And then you get influenced. You know, because you want to rebel. You know, it's just in everyone's blood.
So the confusion can turn into being rebellious.
Absolutely. Or it can turn into being very submissive. You know, कि नहीं जो पहले सिखाया गया वही सही है, I must do just that. You know, and then अगर कोई और कुछ और करना चाहता है तो that's wrong. You know, you have to come to a space when you realize that, okay, this is their way of dealing with things, this is the way they are. And this is the way I am. Just because they are not a reflection of me in every bloody said way does not mean they're wrong or bad. You know?
So this is a wiser Pushtiie talking now, who's also a life coach,
check
a healer.
The halo.
She's also a tarot card reader, and she's doing a whole lot of work helping people heal themselves. But back then, this Pushtiie was confused and got rebellious. High five to that. I've been there, done that. So we're in conversation with the very beautiful and joyful Pushtiie Shakti. We're talking about breaking this gender stereotype around women and weight. And this is your host in Those Style. We'll be right back after this short break.
Hey everybody, welcome to another great week on the IVM Podcast Network. If you are not following us on social media, please do. We're IVM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Want to thank our sponsors this week, HDFC Life and Paytm Money. If you have a brand and you think that podcasting would work well for you and your brand, then please do get in touch with you. We are always looking for new brands to bring on board. This week on Cyrus Says, Cyrus is joined by Prashant Devra. Prashant is the CEO of Pure Tech. He is an old hand in the technology space in India, and I think you'll really enjoy this conversation. On our new podcast, Yuddha, Anirudh and Aditya talk about the use of the war elephant, which dominated the Indian battlefields over 2,000 years. Also on another new podcast, Beyond Cliché, Almas is joined by the fitness trainer Kunal Rajput. They break down the first stereotype that all men must have an engineering degree and a stable job. On the Pragati podcast, Ajay Shah talks to Pawan about the dismal science of economics and his careful observations about the world. On Paperback, Satyajit and Rachita are joined by young author and reader 13-year-old Aryan Kaushal, who shares his process of writing 42 verses of his book. It's time to get motivated. On The Habit Coach, Ashton talks about why Mondays are the most bunked days of the work week and Fridays are the most attended. On Golgappa, Trupti is joined by Amrita Karnik, a food photographer who talks about her passion for the art form. On the Empowering series, Janina is joined by actor and comedian Jamie Lever. She made her debut in the movie Kis Kis Ko Pyar Karu. On Football Shripal, Karthik, Gaurav and Simram give their predictions for this year's round of 16 of the Champions League. On Geek Fruit, Tejas, Dinkar and Jishnu talk about the announcement of the new Mortal Kombat animated movie. On GBCD, Farad and Sunitra talk about infidelity in relationships and share their personal experiences of being cheated on or cheating on someone. And with that, let's get you back to your show.
Hello and welcome back. This is your host in Dostal, and I'm here in conversation with an international certified yoga teacher, a tarot card healer, and also a very, very famous actress. Well, I'm here in conversation with Pushtiie Shakti of Mahi Way. So very few people know that Pushtiie is an internationally certified yoga teacher. And the reason I bring this up is because it's been quite an interesting journey for you, Pushtiie.
It has.
Right? The first time you took off the sarong.
Oh boy.
To the bikini in the beaches in Goa.
Yeah.
To the swimwear in Mahi Way. You've come a long way.
Absolutely.
But growing up, which parts of yourself, your body, your whole self were difficult for you to accept?
Actually, the fun part is it was all okay for me because I was like, this is me. You know, when you grow naturally into something, you don't say there's something wrong with it. It's just the way you are. But after a point, like I said, when you go out and meet other people, you know, and you see other people outside the house, you know, it's a different experience then. And it's not just that. I had a very large chest. Okay, because of some medication that I had taken to, at one point, stay alive. Because I'd fallen ill in school and I had steroids. Okay. And because of that, my chest grew and grew. Okay, so I was in such a bad space that if I allowed that to happen even further, I would have had to, I would probably have snapped my spine. That's what my gynecologist told me. She actually told my mother that if you want this girl, you know, to remain the way she is, happy and standing up, then you must get a surgery done for her. Otherwise, she'll, you know, be in a wheelchair for the rest of her life. So I got a mammostectomy done, and that changed everything for me because suddenly.
And what is that? Just for our listeners.
A mammostectomy is a breast reduction. Yeah. Once I got that done, it was a different feeling because suddenly the clothes were different. Oh my God, you know. And at that age, I was not very old at that time. You know, I was in my 20s, mid 20s. And it was just a huge thing for me because suddenly I could wear stuff that I wanted to wear. I didn't have to wear those oversized clothes, you know, and I didn't have to kind of cover myself up. Because as someone who had a large chest, when I went out, it was very funny, but if you go to a station or any place that's crowded, you suddenly meet someone who will want to touch you. And you're like, dude, what is wrong with you? But any woman that has a large chest apparently is calling out to someone to touch her. Which is a whole load of bullshit. But the truth is that is what I've gone through. And I'm thinking, why? You know, I'm not. Is there like a board on me saying touch me? There isn't. You know, and I'm covering myself up because, you know, the mother's scared saying I have to take care of my child. So she's put all these things in my head saying don't let someone come close to you, don't talk to people, don't, you know, make eye contact. It's just her way of trying to protect her child. But the fact is that it's problematic. Because we're constantly doing this to a woman. How about telling the other person, usually a man, that that's not an invitation?
Correct.
You know? And the funniest thing with me is that everybody has an issue with me showing cleavage. But what they don't understand is, again, I've grown up showing cleavage. Because
it's very natural.
No, I had too much of it.
Yeah, it's just natural, correct.
Yeah, no matter.
It wasn't intentional, it was just natural.
Yeah, because my height was there and my body was wider, right? So if I had anything to wear, if I had a top to wear, the neck would always be low because it's way bigger than what I need for my height. But I need that for the rest of my body. So it would eventually
this is
end
a
up
very,
showing
very,
cleavage.
very important thing because there's a stereotype around it that if there is a cleavage that's available, the woman is visible, available. You know, she probably is putting it out there.
Exactly.
But it could be a normal, natural phenomenon or maybe a challenge for all you know for someone, right?
Yeah, for me it was an absolute
and we need
challenge.
to start looking beyond certain realm of things. Thank you for being very candid about this. Very few people are really bold enough to be out there and talk about these things, and I think the society needs to talk about it.
I think it's about time you kind of understood. You know, I know even today I have a lot of clients, okay, who will talk to me about these things, saying, what do? I feel so ashamed of it. And I'm like, you don't have to feel ashamed of it. That is who you are.
Right.
Start accepting the fact that you are the way you are.
Right.
And only then will people accept it.
Absolutely. So in my profession as a life coach as well, I meet a whole lot of people, both men and women, that are struggling with this.
Absolutely.
But I think the challenge with women particularly is they link it somewhere also to shadi kaun karega, pati kahan se milega. And, you know, I've kind of read some of your interviews where you've spoken about these things, that there have been people that have said that we found a fat guy for you. Since you have this heavy body, it will just suit you. अरे वेट का शादी से कितना लेना देना है? Ultimately, you've got to spend your life with the person, right? So what are some stereotypical statements you've heard?
When I was much younger, I've actually had an aunt who's told me, बहुत बहुत अच्छा लड़का है, बहुत पैसे वाला है और तेरी तरह मोटा है. I'm like, hello? कहाँ, मतलब जोड़ कहाँ है ये? Just because I am big in size, body wise, you think I'll be very happy with someone who's bigger. You know, okay, I must tell you this very personal little tidbit.
Sure.
Forever, since the time I have shifted into a co-ed school, I have had at any given point 4 men waiting to go out with me. Ooh. Even today, I have 4 men waiting to get married to me. Only that has changed.
I'm sure after this interview, you're going to have like a huge queue.
The funny part is when I shaved my head off.
Right.
The first time I put up, when I put up a picture on Instagram, I had 6 rishtas. I had 6 rishtas.
Oh wow.
Just imagine. The first day I put up a bald head. Now what are you talking about stereotypicality? वैसे तो बोलते लंबे बाल, लड़की की सुंदरता जैज. ये क्या हो गया? सारी सुंदरता निकल गई भैया. 6 लोग शादी करना चाहते हैं.
तो ऐसा क्यों? ये आपके साथ ऐसा आप क्या कर रही हैं? आपके stereotypes आपके लिए work कर रहे हैं?
I have no idea. I have no idea.
Maybe I know what it is.
Do tell.
I think you've come a long way in accepting who you are.
Oh yeah.
And acceptance is not easy, Pushtiie. And somewhere along the line, it got difficult for you. There was this designer who told you that if you don't lose weight, I'm not making clothes for you.
Yeah.
And there was a point you said, do hell with it. I just need to get out of here.
Absolutely.
So let's explore that journey of having you discover who you were. What happened?
I think I only discovered who I was once I ran away from home. And I'm a very intelligent girl, not to toot my own horn, but the fact is I ran away with such beautiful planning, किसको लगा ही नहीं भाग गई.
अभी लोगों को पता है या फिर ये इंटरव्यू से पता चलेगा?
नहीं, मैंने मम्मी को बोला था कि मैं भाग गई थी. She's like, हाँ, मैं वही सोची कि तो बेटा 10 साल तक घर ही नहीं आई.
10 साल?
नहीं, I ran away for 10 years, yeah. But I always told my mom where I was, what I'm doing, who I am going. Not like she agreed every time, but it was fun.
तुम किससे भाग रही थी पुष्टि?
अपने आप से भाई.
मैं खुद बहुत भागी हूँ अपने आप से, so I know what that is. But क्या हुआ उस दौरान?
I actually came up to a different way of looking at myself. Very thankfully through another's eyes. Because when I was in Goa, you know, I made the most amazing friends from all over the world, you know, and that is why they say you should explore the world.
Yeah.
Because यहाँ पे रह के यहीं के तौर तरीके,
Correct.
It's always going to be what people here believe in and talk about.
Correct.
You know, and when I went in there, I had an Australian friend, I had a German friend, I had a Turkish friend, and all of them, you know, were least bothered about the way my body looked.
So do you think that this stereotype of weight and women is a lot more in India as compared to people abroad? Or did you just mean liberated people?
I have no idea, but I think it was just the liberated people. Because, no, but actually if you look at the work that they do abroad, someone who's so-called overweight, you know, does not have just one kind of character to play. You know, if you look at Melissa McCarthy, she was big, but look at the kind of work she's done.
Right.
It's amazing.
Right.
You know, she's done such beautiful work.
Right.
It's not important for someone who's so-called big to only be able to do comedy.
Right.
Unfortunately, our country has that chappa.
Yeah.
You know, it's just 3 emotions that a person who's plump can play.
Correct.
And I'm so tired of hearing myself say it.
आप उसका मजाक उड़ा सकते हो. And
Exactly.
you mentioned this many a times कि बनाना है, peel है तो slip होना ही है.
Exactly.
So that is what it is. So how was this journey discovering yourself? वो 10 साल में क्या हुआ? What were some breakthroughs for you? And this is going to be very beneficial to somebody sitting out there listening to this, saying,
Sure.
I need to accept myself too.
First of all, the way I realized what I wanted to wear really. Because my mother used to make me wear Chinese neck salwar kurta with dupatta full sleeves. Can you imagine how covered I was? But again, it's not her fault. But the fact is that I realized that I'm not one of those. I'm not. I don't want to be dug in.
Yeah.
You know?
You're anyway probably feeling dug in with so much that people are telling you.
Exactly.
And then you have this physical manifestation of that Chinese kurta.
Exactly.
Right.
You know, so the first thing I realized is that I need to start wearing different clothes. The minute I did that, you know, the way people looked at me according to my brain changed. But then all of them were like, oh my god, you look so hot. Oh my god, you look so cool. I'm like, अच्छा decide कर लो hot है कि cool है. But the point
दोनों
is,
अच्छे थे.
I realized कि दोनों भी compliment है.
Right.
You know, and it's amazing.
Right.
Because once I changed the way I looked at myself with clothes, you know, I suddenly started to find my own voice. Before that, I used to be very tamizdar and all of that.
And what is it that voice wanted to say?
A lot. It wanted to swear. And how? Because it had been repressed.
There was anger?
Oh my god. Anger doesn't even touch it. It was way beyond that. It was all about मुझे ये करना है, मुझे वो करना है, मुझे ऐसा भी करना है, मुझे वैसा भी करना है, मुझे ये भी पहनना है, मुझे वो भी पहनना है. And there was a time when I used to go back home and say, अच्छा मैं थक गई. Because there is so much in the world. You know, there is so much in the world that I want to explore that I have not explored.
Right.
So after coming into that space of longing,
Right.
you know, you start understanding what you really long to do.
Right.
And most of us are not allowed to go towards the longing.
Absolutely.
Because we're told what we need to do.
Yeah, we can find in
And
a
we're
box.
following. Exactly. We're following that.
Correct.
We don't need to be that.
Right.
See? So once I started going towards my longing, I said, अच्छा ये test. Try. ऐसा वैसा. That happened with food also. Because I was constantly told, इतना खाती है, इतना खाती है, इतना खाती है.
Yeah, so that is another stereotype and a thought process that I wanted to highlight. That with somebody who is on the heavier side of their body, they're told, the association is immediately with food.
Correct.
Right? कि ये इतना खाती है और ये लड़का लड़की दोनों के साथ होता है बट लड़की के साथ ये होता है कि अब तुमको लड़का नहीं मिलेगा तो वो एक एडिशनल प्रेशर हो जाता है आपके ऊपर.
Correct.
Right? So how was your association with food and how did you come around sort of accepting this space?
The funniest part is पहले से ही I eat very little. And I get that from my mom. My mom also eats very little and I've always seen her eat little, so I've also always eaten little. Because of that, you know, there was no chance that I could go any lower with the quantity of food I eat.
Right.
But under the pressure, I did.
Right.
And I started putting on more weight.
Right.
Because when I finally reached a nutritionist, she was like, I don't know what to do with you. Because she gave me a diet saying, 2 chapati subah, 2 chapati sham ko. You know, and I looked at her and said, एक नहीं चलेगी.
So you did the rounds of going to the nutritionist and dietitian and all of that.
Yeah, all of that. But the fact is, okay, let me tell you this. Whenever weight loss has worked for me, it's worked when I have shed as many nonsensical beliefs that I've held within me.
Right. So there was a lot of emotional weight.
Oh boy. Emotional, mental, physical, spiritual, everything came into that. Because what happened is, I believed certain things, you know, and those beliefs are energy patterns in our life.
Absolutely.
You know, and when those energy patterns refuse to leave us, you know, our bodies refuse to change.
Yeah, absolutely. Body has a memory. Body is a live being. Right?
Absolutely.
Every cell is absorbing every emotion you're experiencing.
Absolutely.
Right. So how was this weight loss journey? Did you actually want to lose weight or it was thopod on you कि भैया आपको weight lose करना है by the society? Because you speak a lot about it. There's a video on World Obesity Day that you've spoken extensively about weight loss. So let's talk about your weight loss journey.
My weight loss journey, of course, started with, अरे कितनी मोटी है बेटा. You know, क्या कपड़े पहनोगी, कैसे पहनोगी, and finally coming to ये शादी कौन करेगा? Like नहीं करनी शादी. Yeah, because it was that. And at the end of the day, it did come down to शादी कौन करेगा.
Right.
And that got out of hand for everyone because मतलब हमारी कास्ट में तो 22 मतलब शादी हो ही जानी चाहिए वरना आप outlaw हैं, आप past हैं, you know. So at 39, when people look at me and say, अच्छा तुमने शादी नहीं की, and I'm like नहीं, and they're like, oh. You know? So my weight loss journey started with that drama.
Right.
And of course I pressured myself because, you know, everybody around me was telling me. I'm sure they told me to do that because they wanted me to be healthy. Okay, but what happened is the way they went at it was very wrong. They started guilting me about everything I did, you know. And
then it becomes a cycle, isn't it? There's guilt, and then you want to probably fill yourself up a little bit more, and then you put on that weight, and then the guilt cycle doesn't leave you.
What people don't understand is that let's say someone who's eating a lot, it's not just because they're hungry. They are filling up a void within them that people around them have helped create. I'm not saying have created, I'm saying they've helped create that void. So you have to understand, yaar, बेचारा बच्चा अपना खालीपन भर रहा है. You know? So how do you deal with that? Food is one thing. Different people go into different things. Some people go on a shopping spree. Some people go into binge watching television. Some people go on a spending spree, not just shopping. You know? And some people go to food. A lot of people go to food.
And we've seen that in Mahi Way.
Absolutely.
The character that you played was always escaping into
Chocolates.
A bucket full of chocolate or popcorn, French fries, something like that.
So, you know, when you want to do filly stuff, like when you really want to fill stuff, you're not really looking at healthy food. Jo mil gaya bhaiya mera. That is the whole idea.
Comfort chahiye.
Absolutely. I have someone who doesn't judge me. I think there was a dialogue in Mahi Way where I was talking to my chocolate. My best friend कि तुम मुझे कभी judge नहीं करती. It's true, you know. It's really, really true. Because the chocolate is not going to say मतलब ज़्यादा मत खाओ मुझे मोटी हो जाओगी. Nobody's going to say that. The point is, you have to understand first as someone who wants to lose weight that whatever you're doing, be it eating or be it not exercising or whatever, two things come out of it. One is that your weight is going to stay the same. And second is that, you know, you're going to feel very content about being in control of rebelling.
Yeah.
Because that's the only thing you can do. मुझे 4 बार बोलोगे नहीं करूँगी.
Right.
चौथी बार chance ही नहीं के करूँगी.
Correct.
That is what you do. Nobody wants to be told the same thing 5 times. They might take 2 years to go ahead and do it even if they're told once. But the fact is that they will do it at their own time. Right. You pushing them is not going to make them do it. It's going to be begrudging.
Right.
You know.
So you keep saying that you lose weight only if you want to lose the weight. Right?
Absolutely.
ऐसे कोई pressure नहीं है that just because the whole world is doing it, you got to do it yourself.
Right.
So we're in a very candid conversation with Pushtiie Shakti. I'm really enjoying every bit of this.
So am I.
We're going to explore a lot more about you being this magical person that you've turned out to be and how you created this life that you had into a purpose with talking about weight and issues into a show called Mahi Way. And it happened to you when you were in Goa, escaped from the world, traveling inside and out, right?
Yes.
So we're going to be back after a short break and we're going to talk about how Mahi traveled this path and started serving others through her show Mahi Way.
Yeah, in a way.
How many times have you motivated yourself to improve your sleep or lose weight or be more productive? How many times have you failed? Hi, my name is Ashton Doctor. Tune into my show, The Habit Coach Podcast, where we focus on creating small, tiny habits to improve your life instead of those big, impossible tasks. So make listening to me a habit every Monday, Wednesday and Friday on the IVM Podcast app or ivmpodcast.com or on your favorite podcasting app.
Hello and welcome back. This is Almas and I run a campaign called #TurnOffTheStereo where we're trying to create a lot of awareness on stereotyping that's done across genders. And I always say that we are souls and not genders, so let's just not define ourselves in a box. I write extensively about it and one of the articles that I wrote was around this chase to size 0. Why are women so obsessed with it? And a lot of letters that I got in return spoke about, this is not a race. Mote se patla hona koi race nahi hai. And most women end up losing themselves in the whole process. Pushtiie Shakti is in conversation with me today in the studio. And Pushtiie, I was reading one of your Instagram posts and it said, I'm different always have been. It took a while, but I have accepted that I am a magic, not meant for everyone to understand. So they question. That's okay. I will stay in my lane being all magical and stuff.
Absolutely.
So high five to that one again. Right, Pushtiie. So you were in Goa.
Yeah.
You were traveling inside and out.
Yep.
And you were escaping and also coming back home.
Yes.
Absolutely. Now, when that was happening is when you got this call for this show, Mahi Way.
Actually, yes, after many, many years of being out, I had just come back from Bombay. I was in the train from Bombay on my way to Goa when I got the call, and I just I thought people were joking, honestly. I thought the girl who called me up was joking. And I thought one of my friends had put her up to that. Because when I was ready to leave, nobody was letting me go because my brother and my mother were telling me, people are writing stuff for you. Because it was a fact, people were writing stuff for me. But again, in the same comic zone. So I was like, but that's not what I want to do. I don't want to do this, so I'm gone. और ऐसे ही मुंह से निकल गया, यश राज जब मेन लीड के लिए बुलाएगा ना, तब वापस आऊंगी.
And it was तथास्तु.
मतलब it was an absolute manifestation.
Wow.
Because I kept in my head, this is how I thought about it, okay? Like crash course and manifestation. I thought about, अच्छा ये तो होने वाला है नहीं कभी. क्यों? क्योंकि यशराज की सारी जो हीरोइन है एक ही फैक्ट्री से निकलती हैं.
Correct.
Sorry, I mean, it sounds really bad, but it's a fact. That they all have the same kind of body structure, same kind of hair, all of that. And if you see my hair before I cut it off, I had very curly hair, which is only now becoming evident in other people's lives. Otherwise, it was always straight, lambe baal.
Correct.
Nahi bhaiya, So, in my mind, I was thinking, I don't come out from the same factory.
Right.
So, I'm never going to get it.
Right.
So, कोई और मेरा मजाक नहीं उड़ाएगा. दिन भर मेरे को यही डायलॉग नहीं सुनने पड़ेंगे कि तुम मोटी हो, तुम ये हो, तुम वो. नहीं करना पड़ेगा मुझे. I was very confident with that.
Right.
But slowly what happened is when people kept asking me, I kept saying just the first part. कि जब यशराज बुलाएगा ना तब आऊंगी मेन रोल के लिए, मेन रोल. I kept saying that. Okay. And about 7 or 8 years after that, I get a call. It was Bhumi Pednekar, who's now like such a big actress, who used to assist Abhimanyu Ray. Okay, at that time she had called me and I thought, पता नहीं ये कोई दोस्त की दोस्त लग रही है. She's pulling my leg के यशराज से whatever.
And what zone were you in when this call came to you?
I was sitting in the train happily reading a book. I was very.
Those were your days.
हाँ भैया
पढ़ना है, chill करना, explore करना.
जो करना है करो, kind of thing.
जो करना है करो.
And she called me and I said, listen, once I reach Goa, I'll call you. Right now, आवाज कट रही है, so I'll call you later. And she said, okay. I go there and she says, so it's like this and you got to come and audition within like 2 days, 3 days, if you can come faster. I said, no, I'm not coming back. एक महीने के बाद अगर if you're still auditioning, I'll come. Literally, this is what I said to her. And she said, हाँ ठीक है. Now, before I even reached home, I was in the taxi to get home. Before I even reached home, I got a call from one of my patients saying कि boss, बैंड बजी पड़ी है, वी नीड यू टू कम बैक इमीडिएटली. कल सुबह की फ्लाइट की टिकट्स तुम्हारे ईमेल में है, रिटर्न जब चाहिए तब करवा देंगे. Literally,
so the universe pulled you to Mumbai for
absolutely this. Absolutely. And I went back because I kept telling people that if I do something, I want to make a difference. I don't just want to, I actually had said these words to a friend of mine saying, अगर कोई मेरे मोटापे का मजाक भी उड़ाता है ना, तो कोई reason के लिए हो, कि and now I don't even think that is important. मजाक उड़ाना बिल्कुल जरूरी नहीं है. At that time I thought of this. And that's what happened. The next day I came back and I went on audition and I got that character.
But at that point in time, did you know that the character was so close to real life?
No. Only when I went and I started auditioning for it. So I auditioned on day 1. Okay, and they said if you could just, give us this kind of a look and come back on the next day. I said sure. And I did that. I got dressed up for the way they wanted me to get dressed up for it and all of that. And I stayed there for 6 hours, I think, auditioning for them.
Wow.
Literally. And when it's very silly, but in my mind I was thinking, यहीं घर बसा लेते आज रात के लिए. जाने तो दे नहीं रहे हो. But the minute I said,
आपका घर वहाँ बसा, काफी देर तक बसा.
बहुत. And the day I left, that day, when I left the studio, I knew I'd got the part. I came home and I told myself, Mom, I think I got that part.
Did you connect with that character?
I did. I did.
What were some of the stereotypes that were played out in that role and how similar were they to you in your real life?
The whole competition with food, was a thing that played out. okay, now I don't have a sweet tooth. I have a sweet jaw.
What does that mean?
That means मैं इतना मीठा खा सकती हूँ कि मतलब दुनिया में कम पड़ जाएगा मीठा. मैं इतना मीठा खा सकती हूँ. But now it's become less. Naturally it's become less. अब इतना नहीं खाया जाता. अब मिल्क चॉकलेट नहीं खाई जाती. अब थोड़ी सी खाती तो डार्क चॉकलेट हो जाती है. That kind of thing. But at that time that was a big thing. And of course you can't keep eating that much chocolate,
right?
So I would keep removing it. I'd eat it and I'd remove it. I'd eat it and I'd remove it. So I'd wasted a lot of chocolate. So bada dil mein dard hota tha. That is one thing. Another thing besides the food was clothes. Because the first designer and me had a bit of a bad time with clothes. Okay, but later the girl who came in later was like a darling. She gave me the right kind of clothes. That changed something. That was another thing. And yeah, at that time also, everybody was in that space of shadi kar rahe, ab to umar ho gayi. I think I was 24 then. So it was like umar ho gayi. Oh no, I was not 24, sorry. I was 24 on the show. I was 29 at that time. And everybody was like, nahi, ab to, 29 ho gayi, shadi kar rahe.
Right.
So that was one thing that was going on. These were two things. Another thing is that I've always been by myself. I've been alone. I don't have too many friends. So the whole feeling of having friends was like...
So there are these two friends in the show that are constantly your support and guidance. Have you had that in your real life?
At that time I didn't. And now I have like a load of that. But at that time I didn't, because like I said, I was traveling so much that I didn't have time to kind of, set down roots anywhere as such.
Right. So now this Pushtiie has done a lot of work on healing herself, accepting herself, and now she's got this show which was like tailor-made, designed by the universe only for you.
Absolutely.
And you call it like examination, the final exam for you. So while the show was on, did women reach out to you, and what all did they tell you?
The most amazing thing that I feel very honored for is that when I did that couple of episodes in Goa, when we shot in Goa, where I was wearing a swimsuit, okay, I actually had about 1,500 pictures of women, fat women in bikinis in my inbox.
Wow. And what did they say?
They all said कि अगर आप टीवी पे पहन सकते हो तो हमारे कमरे में तो जरूर पहन सकते हैं. And I had videos of women crying and telling me कि ये हमने कभी ट्राई नहीं किया, लेकिन अब जो ट्राई करे इतना अच्छा लग रहा है. They were like, बिना like there are women.
So this is such a cliche, that बिकिनी पहनने का हक सिर्फ और सिर्फ पतली लड़की के पास है.
हाँ, apparently.
And there is like a pin drop silence here in the studio right now. But yeah, I mean, why is a bikini not meant for everyone? Yeah. It should be for everyone, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very nice, this thing that I read, that you have a body, you put on a bikini, it's a bikini body. It's true.
Exactly. Imagine we actually have a stereotype called bikini body.
Yeah.
But body is a body. Is for bikini dal diya, wo bikini body ho gaya.
Correct.
Right. So that was a nice moment where, people actually, and this happens in the show very frequently, where women are constantly reaching out to you with issues and saying, I'm inspired by your article. So this actually happened in real life as well.
A lot, because every episode kind of rang true for the one person who went through it, and not just one, like a million people who went through it, and all over the world. I was one of our cast members was going to Syria, I think. No, somewhere in that zone. Right. And on the airport, they were all crowding around her saying, oh my God, what, when is Mahi Way 2 coming? When is Mahi Way 2 coming?
By the way, when is Mahi Way 2 coming?
Do not ask me that. I will murder you.
We're waiting.
He's never coming back. Take a hint, people.
No, I think the society needs shows like that.
But now...
So what I like about that show is the kahani mein twist towards the end, right? So people that have not... By the way, I'm promoting your show big time.
What's the point?
No, because we want people to watch it, right? There's a point towards the end. Can you tell us what is the climax and how is it different from the regular climax, where there's a happily ever after with a man and a woman coming together? But this was different. What's the climax and what's the message from the climax?
I think it was the most fun thing to do.
Right.
And I think that
what did Mahi Talwar do in that climax?
Mahi Talwar basically realized कि भैया भूख लगी है. My mother has not let me eat in 3 days so that I can fit into whatever I have to fit into. But the fact is, nobody cares about that. Nobody cares about me. Everybody's cared about what she looks like, who she's marrying, how she's going to be, what will happen next. Right. But she realizes that, boss, मैं खुद अपने आप को नहीं जानती. I don't really know what I like.
Right.
I don't really know what I want.
Right.
How am I going to become a part of another, of a pair? You know? Like, you've got to understand that being married is not just about, it's not about finishing each other. It's about sharing your fullness with the other person.
Right.
You know, you're full enough, that person's full enough, and you're coming together to share your fullness. ये patchwork नहीं है भैया.
Correct.
You know, to complete each other. अब incomplete क्यों? पहली बात ये बताओ. What is this incomplete वाला feeling?
और कोई दूसरा आपको कैसे complete कर सकता है?
You can't expect that. So, you know, the fact that she walks away, she tells Ishan in front of everyone.
And Ishan is this ideal,
absolutely,
character, ideal man for any woman.
Correct.
And she decides that she doesn't want to marry him.
Yeah, no, because the fact is that she doesn't know herself, and now she's going to see, she's lived according to her parents till now. You know, with the sister being so very heavy on her because sister is this beauty queen. You know? And then there is this Ishan whose life she's going to have to fit in with. She's only going to become furniture there, honestly, placed in that man's life. He would maybe have made a difference,
right?
You know, treating her differently, but the fact is that she didn't want to be furniture anymore. You know, she wanted to figure out who she is. So she left. She ran away from there. And I think that was the most real thing that happened in that show. And I was like, dude, I would have done that. If I ever actually got down to a mandap without wanting to, you know, I would have done that.
Right.
It was so real.
But it can happen that at some point in time you totally want something because, you know, it's cool, you want to fit in, especially because you have validation issues. आपको एक ऐसा मुंडा मिल रहा है जिसको मतलब जो एक perfect दामाद हो सकता है. You know, it's society validation. And then you decide ये नहीं चाहिए. This can totally happen because you realize that you don't need validation anymore.
No, you need to have the courage, but you need to have the courage. Some people might see it that way but not have the guts to do it.
Yeah, and that's what we want to kind of spread as a message on this show. How do you get that courage here?
You only get that courage when you actually realize how important you are to your own life. You know, the minute you start living the life that other people want you to live, you know, and you're okay with that, and you don't know what feels good to you, it'll always remain कि भैया कर लो शादी. But the minute you say कि नहीं, मुझे ना लाल रंग नहीं पसंद आता, मुझे ऑरेंज कलर चाहिए, सॉरी, भले you know 19-20 हो लाल ऑरेंज, लेकिन मुझे ऑरेंज चाहिए. When you're strong enough to get up and say I want orange, not red, that is the time you'll get it. That is the time you'll understand. कभी कभी ना खुद के लिए जिद करना बहुत जरूरी होता है. हम अपने लिए जिद नहीं करते, हम किसी और के लिए जिद करते हैं.
Right.
Point is, literally, do you have the balls to fight for yourself?
Right.
And before that, do you even know that you want something different?
Right.
And how do you decide that? When you give yourself a chance. You know,
why is it that people don't give themselves a chance?
Because they've never stayed by themselves.
And especially for women, I think as women we don't give ourselves enough chances.
Look around you, babe. Look around you. How many chances are women taking now? Loads. Women are taking a lot of chances now. Yeah. Why didn't people take chances before? Because we were following traditional patriarchy.
Correct.
कि ऐसे करना है, वैसे करना है, ऐसे ही रहना है.
Correct.
Why? I don't understand when this idea of इतना पतला होना चाहिए तभी सही लड़की. Oh, hello. Look at all the goddesses in every culture.
Correct.
Be it like, you know, Venus, or be it, you know, our goddesses, Annapurna, or even Parvati. They're all very big women.
Right.
Big goddesses. मूर्तियाँ सारी बड़ी हैं.
Right.
Forget that. चलो goddesses छोड़ो. Marilyn Monroe. Dude, आज के ज़माने में they'll call her fat.
Correct.
But she was a sex symbol.
Correct.
What happened? कहाँ गया? वो fullness कहाँ गया?
Correct. And you also talk about African women, and there's so much to learn from the men over there.
Oh my God. Oh my God. I mean, you know, I remember watching this one interview. I don't remember who it was. And it was this one guy who said, my woman, like my wife is a queen. And I love her so much. And in my mind, I'm thinking, अच्छा होगी कोई model type, पतली लंबी. And trust me, there was this woman who walked onto stage who couldn't even manage her own weight. And she was waddling in, literally. And you could see that man's eyes light up.
Wow.
Literally, you could see that man's eyes light up.
इसको कहते हैं beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder.
Absolutely. You know, absolutely. But the fact is, unfortunately, we keep looking at the beholder from outside, na? Okay, we wake up in the morning, brush karte hain. What do we look at? We look at, usually we have a mirror, na?
Right.
So who is your first beholder every morning? Tell me that. Does that beholder really behold you? Does it look into the mirror and say, oh my God, you're hot, or you're cool, or you're lukewarm? I don't know. Does that happen? No, you probably say, अरे यार ना आज नाक मोटी लग रही, अरे पिंपल हो गया है, eyebrows करानी है. Probably end up saying stuff like that. है ना? Do you ever look at yourself and go, wow, I have the most pretty eyes ever? मेरा दांत टूटा हुआ है लेकिन I smile so sweet.
Right.
When will you appreciate yourself?
Right. किसी ने सही कहा है that the most important conversation is the one that you have with yourself.
Absolutely.
You've also done a short video on something called It All Starts Within. And I was watching that, and that was just so amazing to see that there's this girl who's really worried about अब next rejection होगा मेरा when I enter in this shadi center, and there's this boy telling him it's okay, you can accept yourself, right? So please continue doing some of this work, because the world needs to hear these stories. The world needs to see this in the form of art. We need more people who are truly accepting themselves just the way they are.
Absolutely.
What's your message to all the girls there, and even for the men that have a difficult time accepting themselves?
First of all, the first thing it starts with is first look at yourself without judgment. First look at yourself. If you have a nice roll of fab over there, say, Acha, I have a roll of fab. Can't do that. Your mind cannot go into panic attack mode the minute you look at yourself.
Right.
First, look at yourself and see that this is what I have. Stop judging. When you see, then say, okay, fine, I'd like to correct this. बड़ा करना है, छोटा करना है, क्या करना है, पता नहीं. But I want to change this. Understand that you want to create a change very specifically.
Right.
Then start working on figuring out how you want to create that change that creates the least pain in your life.
Correct.
That creates the least pain. After that, make that change. And remember, patience is very, very important if you're looking for a change to happen. Very few things.
How long did it take for you?
Forever? It's still not over.
It's still work in progress.
It's still a work in progress. It's a forever thing. I'm a perfect work in progress is what I tell people.
Yeah, same here. So I still have this ritual, I wake up in the morning and I look at this mirror and say, Mwah, I love you. And then there are some days when I don't feel like it, but I still say, I love you.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to do this little ritual in the studio. So we don't have a mirror, but we can always have this little, selfie in the studio. Why don't we just look at ourselves and say we love ourselves? I think that is so important. So Pushtiie, what would you like to tell yourself when you see yourself here?
You're amazing. You're one of a kind. Live it up.
Yeah, you're beautiful. Wow, I love those gorgeous eyes. You're amazing. Keep rocking. I think all of us need to do this once in a while. And why once in a while? Every day. Wow. Such amazing energy in the studio. Pushtiie, what a lovely conversation.
I'm glad we had this. We had such fun.
Yeah, we had such fun. And thank you for being candid. I think you're right. Not all of us have the courage to stand up and accept ourselves fully. And that's really the theme and the message that we want to send out today in the studio. Pushtiie, how do people get in touch with you? How do they find you on social media?
You can find me on Instagram at Pushtiie. I have a very peculiar spelling. PUSHTIIE.
अच्छा, ये आई पहले से था या बाद में डाला?
मेरा तो नेम भी चेंज हुआ है ना.
अच्छा, what was your name earlier?
Priya.
Okay. What is Pushtiie?
My name now.
What does it mean?
Pushtiie means completion in Sanskrit.
Wow.
And it means confirmation and support in Hindi. Like इस बात की पुष्टि करें.
तो हम इस बात की पुष्टि करना चाहते हैं कि हम सब बड़े कंप्लीट हैं. हमको अपने आप को ठीक करने की कोई जरूरत नहीं है. Right? If you like this podcast, don't forget to check out other interesting podcasts on the IVM network. You can listen to us on the IVM Podcast app or ivmpodcast.com. You can also follow us on our social media. We are at IVM Podcast on Twitter and Instagram. And if you want to reach out to me, I am at @Almas Virani 11 on Twitter. And Almas Virani _1111 on Instagram. Don't forget to join my movement on turning off the stereo. Please find me on Facebook. I talk extensively and I want more people to join hands with #turnoffthestereo. Also, we want to bring about a change in this world. I'm a change maker with change.org, and I have a petition out there that I would like you to come together, sign, join the movement. We need more fathers participating in this movement of upbringing of children, right? We talk about motherhood, we talk about fatherhood, but we need to talk about parenthood. There are diaper companies out there showing mothers changing diapers all the time. There are a lot of fathers doing that equally. My petition is to a very renowned diaper company, asking them to put fathers on the wrapper of these diapers. Please do sign my petition. It is www.change.org/papapampers2. Don't forget to sign the petition and keep watching the show. I have a whole lot of stuff lined up in the future episodes coming out. We're going to keep talking about the definition of beauty and gender stereotyping in a few more episodes coming up. Today was great, Pushtiie. I want to thank you once again for being a part of this fantastic conversation.
Thank you for having me.
And I'm going to end this show with 2 words. Accept yourself. Thank you so much. Signing off. Bye-bye.
माणसं ना गोलगप्प्यासारखी असतात. हाय हॅलो करताना वेगळी आणि बोलताना वेगळी आणि गप्पा मारताना वेगळी, मित्र झाली की वेगळी आणि शत्रू म्हणून वेगळी, थोडक्यात दिसणारी वेगळी आणि असणारी वेगळी, कधी आंबट, कधी गोड, कधी तिखट, तर कधी चमचमीत आणि कधी कधी हॉट अँड स्पायसी सुद्धा. आणि म्हणूनच गप्पा सॉरी गोल गप्पा विथ तृप्ती खामकर फक्त तुमच्यासाठी दर बुधवारी IVM पॉडकास्टच्या ऍपवर, वेबसाईटवर किंवा युट्यूब चॅनलवर सुद्धा ऐकू शकता. तुम्ही आमचा पॉडकास्ट वेगवेगळ्या पॉडकास्ट प्लॅटफॉर्मवरती ऐकू शकता. फक्त सर्च करा गोल गप्पा विथ तृप्ती खामकर आणि आमचा पॉडकास्ट ऐकत रहा.